with the right mindset, with resilience, with patience, because, as human beings, we always want quick outcomes to everything.
When you look back at your journey, how did leadership, purpose-driven, followed your career?
Every opportunity in life is a growth opportunity. People come and go, whether they are a breath of fresh air or difficult.
Along this journey of your leadership, was there a particular moment or experience that shaped you, how you lead today, than when you started?
I started my leadership journey very early in my career. I was just 29 or 30.
3 aspects of empowerment. What do you think are the 3 most important aspects of empowerment?
I want to thank you for hosting me and for creating this platform. I really believe in your mission. It's a noble and important one. So thank you so much for having me today.
Welcome to Self-Discovery Podcast. A space where we uncover the mindsets, beliefs, and inner evolution of leaders who are redefining what true leadership looks like from the inside out. Today's guest, a woman whose career and character embody resilience, reinvention, and purpose-driven leadership, Noha Hefny. Noha is an award-winning strategic communications and ESG leader, C-suite advisor, and international speaker recognized among Asia's 100 power women. With over 23 years of experience across 7 countries, she bridges the words of corporate influence and social impact with remarkable grace and depth. Her career spans the United Nations, PepsiCo, McKinsey, ADNOC, and now Kellanova, which is a global powerhouse known for brands like Kellogg's. At PepsiCo MEA, Noha established and led the corporate affairs function, driving transformation into communication, government relations, and social responsibility. She also led the UN Women UAE's engagement at Expo 2020, designing and delivering 22 powerful events amplifying women's leadership and gender equality globally. Fluent in English, French, and Arabic, Noha brings a globally minded yet deeply human approach to leadership. In today's conversation, we will explore the mindset shifts and belief systems that have shaped her journey and how women can rise with both strength and self-awareness in a world still learning to balance power and purpose and gender. This is the story of Noha Hefny and the self-discovery behind her leadership. Hi Noha, welcome to Self-Discovery Podcast. How are you doing today?
Hi, Mohsinaa. Thank you so much for hosting me today. It's really a pleasure to be here, and I'm looking forward to our conversation. Thank you.
Please tell us, you have worked with organizations like UN, McKinsey, PepsiCo, and now Kellanova. That's such a rich and diverse global journey. When you look back at your journey, how did leadership, purpose-driven, followed your career, if you can tell us?
Yeah, so the idea of purpose started with me at a very young age. It was instilled in me by my parents, in a sense like that I need to be responsible. And I used to be the daughter of a diplomat. So my father was an ambassador in different countries. And that's how I actually lived in 7 countries. But basically, from a very young age, in every country that I lived in, from Ethiopia to Switzerland to Norway, my parents always, connected me with the local culture, with the local communities where we live, and always encouraged me to give back to these communities. The second is really values. So the values that were instilled in me and the values I also stand for today are the foundation of purpose-driven leadership for me. So these are values like impact, excellence. Also giving back is, creating value in every job that you undertake and every opportunity that you have. You make a difference, you create value, you change people and organizations for the better. So all of these, I would say, stem from a very young age through the way I was raised, but also being exposed to so many different countries, people, cultures, that also broadens kind of your horizon. And you feel that you become like a global citizen and you become someone who needs to not be very narrowly cornered in one place in the world, but that you belong to every place that you've lived in, or you exist even in organizations in different ways. And therefore, you have a responsibility to contribute. So This has gone with me across, the field, humanitarian operations when I worked for the UN or in offices or big organizations and multinationals. So everywhere I go, my purpose is to uplift, to serve, to make a difference, to add value, to make things better than I found them when I first stepped into an opportunity or role, So it's a mantra, if you like, and it doesn't matter what sector you're in. So whether I was in entrepreneurship or in the corporate world with the UN, again, it's the same. It's about impact, excellence, and it's about fairness and justice. These are my values, and fairness and justice also bring, other things like equity. I bring this in every role that I have. And as a leader now, after so many years, I have the opportunity also to influence and to shape, policies, programs that can also bring that purpose to life. So it's really exciting to be able to impact and influence others.
Looking at you, the years of experience that you have had, there must be some resistance you have faced when you have voiced your opinions, because you have a long era of experience. How is it different now? What are the changes that you have seen when you first stepped in, and now that you have worked for so many years, how has the resistance shift that has happened?
For me, it's all a mindset. It's how you perceive challenges. So I would call all these challenges opportunities. And basically, I'm deeply spiritual, right? So I'm a sound healer. I'm also connected spiritually to my own faith. But what I would say is every opportunity in life is a growth opportunity. People come and go, whether they are a breath of fresh air or difficult to deal with. It's an opportunity for you to evolve. And every person is coming with a message. Every situation, whether it's difficult or not, is coming to help you as a human being evolve. So if you can look at things in that way, what can I take from that person in a positive light, even if they, triggered you or it was an intense conversation, and say, it's a complex situation, you have a problem to resolve, etc. So looking at it as, where is the opportunity in this? Where can I make the greatest impact? And in the areas where you cannot make impact, sometimes, you're not perfect. So all of us have different skills and strengths. It's also knowing when to call people in and to ask for help and to bring a collective contribution to a problem. So I think for me, challenges have been that way in my journey. From a very young age, my first job was with UNHCR, working on the field in East Sudan in humanitarian refugee operations. And, it's not an easy setting. You're in the middle of nowhere, and in a very harsh context. But the opportunity there is the impact that you can make. It's no other job or career that I've done in my life will ever give me the same opportunity to impact people on such a deep level and to experience hardship, which actually, again, from that lens of enrichment and human evolution, I think these early experiences in my life, enabled me to look at issues and crises and problems in my own life, all things that you can overcome with the right mindset, with resilience, with patience, because, as human beings, we always want quick outcomes to everything. But the reality is nothing is quick. You have to thrive and put your best foot forward and work hard really to reap the fruits of your efforts. And so all these earlier experiences working in these circumstances have given me that resilience, have given me that opportunity to address any issue or crisis in a grounded and calm way. Because when you look at how people live in a refugee camp, and with the most below basic access to services and basic life, things that we expect so easily, ourselves, for example, in our daily life, you realize that honestly, the problems that we have are nothing compared to what others who have to think of how do I secure food or education for my family or security, just a shelter, and it's, I feel blessed that I experienced this in my 20s because it puts things very much into perspective. So even in my lowest times, I'm able to go back and think, okay, this is still comparably much better than what many people face in the world today. The challenges also, are in every sector. So as an entrepreneur, I was challenged to try and build a business and, for example, access funding and so on. That is not an easy journey. And also, having to be the face of a brand, being told no, right? It's not necessarily as a small startup that you will be able to penetrate the market so easily. So again, this, only builds your resilience. And if you have, in my opinion, a purpose, a bigger purpose that you are thriving towards, a big why of why you're doing this venture or this job, or, working for refugees, for example, or anything that you do in your life, it will be your compass. It will motivate you to continue, even when you are put down. In the corporate world, I was privileged to work for amazing companies, to be honest, like PepsiCo, and today with Kellanova, very inclusive, diverse type of environments that are, really enabling for women. But, in every corporation, it's different and there are challenges. And as women leaders, we do confront unconscious bias, we do confront the need to prove ourselves, to carve our place in a leadership team. And I started my leadership journey very early in my career. I was just 29 or 30. So I found myself, in a huge regional leadership team. And I needed to prove my credibility. And it's not easy. But again, it's all a matter of perspective, mindset, and carving your seat at the table and creating the opportunities to grow and to thrive. No one will do it for you. You need to do it yourself. But for that, it starts with you, your values, your core, your energy, how you manage that efficiently, and being grounded in your truth, authenticity, right? So when you emulate all these things I'm talking about, people also connect with you and it builds trust and credibility. So I think authenticity is very important in leadership, and courage. Much of what I've done, like, it had an element of courage. I will tell you for a fact, I was the only Arab woman on the field in East Sudan or south of Algeria back in my 20s when I went to these operations with UNHCR. My family was, wow, what are you going to do? It's a field location. But it's, again, that purpose, and you believe in it and you know that this is your road to uplift and make a global impact. So all I'm trying to say is, like, just be authentic, connect with a bigger purpose that continues to motivate you. And one last thing is, leadership journeys are a trajectory that is not a straight line. There are ups and downs. And in these down moments, this is the time where you basically must work on yourself. This is the time to upskill, it is the time to take care of your well-being as well, because we don't do a great job at that. It is the time to attend to many things that you might have been neglecting in your life. So what I would say is, there is an opportunity in every challenge, and you just need to believe in that.
So inspiring and so true,
Thank
so
you.
rooted. And, when you have spoken about the downs, those situations that you were in initial of your career, it brings in that humility and that gratefulness at any given situation, no matter what you are facing at the moment. You still think you are better off than, what could have been gone worse. Can I now ask you, Noha, and along this journey of your leadership, was there a particular moment or experience that shaped you, how you lead today, than when you started?
Honestly, every station in this journey has shaped me in a different way, but I can tell you how it shaped me. So, the humanitarian sector or international development, it taught me diplomacy, right? Tact. If you want to change very complex global social impact issues or challenges of development, right? Sustainable development. You really need tact, diplomacy when you approach governments, when you approach different stakeholders. The second thing I learned in the humanitarian sector is really putting people first. So early, again, in my career, I saw heads of offices, like equivalent to a CEO, carrying the files of people who are registering as asylum seekers, for example, in UNHCR, and or counseling a woman who is coming to apply for refugee status. So, seeing your CEO equivalent doing this kind of work tells you that it's not about titles, right? It's about mission, it's about purpose. So putting people first carries on with me in my journey, whether today in the corporate world, for example, I'll always put my team first, because a leader is only as good as their own people. You cannot succeed without your team, and therefore nurturing and cultivating that team and making them even better than your own self, I think is great. Another thing that shaped me is letting go. So when I was younger, everyone likes to be recognized, right, for their work. I was always striving, like, oh, why didn't this person thank me? Why didn't they recognize me? I didn't get this award. I didn't, what I realized as well over time, and this I learned really from the corporate world, and the more you grow up as a leader, again, it is not about recognizing yourself, it's about recognizing others. Navigating complex corporate dynamics, for example, it's all about building trust. It's all about building networks. And how you build trust is really showing that authenticity, showing sometimes vulnerability to people. Or if someone is showing vulnerability to you, being open to that, holding space, holding ground. And that in turn builds that trust. That person will always come back to you. You're kind of a safe space for your people, for your teams, and promoting them. So I'm not seeking, the visibility for myself in terms of a project or this. It's always pushing your team forward, in my opinion. The other thing is, I've seen some of my managers basically really believe in me at a very young age. I was lucky in that sense. So they took a chance on me, and not necessarily that I was fully ready for every role that I was given. But again, as leaders, as women as well, we tend to look for perfection. But the reality is, we need to take a chance on people. If they have 95% of the skills for a given opportunity or role, let them have it, let them prove themselves. And that happened in my own experience. And it actually pushed me to really make these people proud, to really succeed in these roles, because I felt that, oh my God, I'm given an opportunity that is so much bigger than me, So believing first that I can, and having that confidence to take on the opportunity, because you can, with learning, with this growth mindset, you can also, you as a leader, carving these opportunities and taking a chance on your people. So all these are experiences that have shaped me.
Noha, you have mentioned that, you are very spiritual in terms of, you're very spiritually aligned, and you said you are, healing as well, yes?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So please tell me this thing, how much of your spirituality and the intuition that you receive through that connect and that alignment, because I'm an energy coach and empowerment coach, I have coached thousands of people around the globe. So I have noticed this, that does the decisions become faster because you are aligned and there's no confusion, a bit goes away whenever decision making is concerned?
Look, everything in life requires consistency.
Yeah.
Same with this spiritual path. If you invest in it and you kind of practice the things that you learn, etc., the more you can reap the benefits. So for me, the more I do connect with my core essence, spirituality, purpose, whatever you may call it, and it's different beliefs for different people, the more I remember to express my own prayers in my own way. It really gives me clarity of mind. It allows me to stay humble, because yani, the more you grow, sometimes you believe that you are your job. But the reality is, you are not your title and you are not your job. You are a simple human being. So spirituality for me keeps me grounded in this modesty, humility. No matter what role I will be in now or in the future, it's always going to be the same. This does not make me who I am today. It's an achievement in my life that I've earned, maybe through my hard work, etc. But this is what spirituality brings to you: groundedness, clarity of mind, humility. Also, spirituality is not just words, it's embodying what you believe. So, for example, if you believe you need to be good to people, right? It's walking the talk with your
Yes.
team. It's walking the talk and how you deliver your own work, making sure that you deliver, again, excellence, like I mentioned, is valued. It's also, this one is so important, is having faith that things will work out in the best possible way, despite the uncertainty and despite not having all the answers. So that's what spirituality gave me. In entrepreneurship, for example, there were days that I had zero in my balance in my bank account of my venture. This is the reality. Nobody will go and say this because people
That's so
kind of
true.
shy away. But this is the reality. There were days I did really well, but days I actually struggled to build my business. And in those moments, it's that faith, it's that trust that, I've done my best. There is a certain point after you have done that to let go and trust that God or the universe or whoever you believe in is going to do the best for you. There were moments as well where you're in between, for example, jobs, and you're waiting a very long period to get the next opportunity, etc. Again, trusting the process and believing that, you've done your best. But it also is around, going out of your comfort zone, having the curiosity to learn, to grow, to explore, connect with people. So you cannot just hide behind your computer, and think, oh, wow, everything's going to change. You need to thrive. If you thrive, God will answer, the universe will answer. But that belief, and we all say that we believe sometimes, but do we truly believe? Can we really let go? We're all, many people are control freaks, they didn't answer me, I need to send another email, I need to do this, I need to call that client,
Yeah.
It's about, that's what spirituality brings. Let it go. You've done the part. It's going to happen. And if it doesn't happen, it's because something else is meant to happen, right? So I think that helps a lot in terms of sort of pacing and grounding your leadership, I would say.
Being in surrender mode and being in the mode that you're taken care of, no matter what the situation is. Absolutely. Well said. So, Noha, 3 aspects of empowerment. What do you think are the 3 most important aspects of empowerment? No matter what other aspects do you have, it doesn't matter, but these 3 shines out in any individual of an empowered mindset.
For me, feeling empowered is about going to sleep at night without carrying any guilt that I have not treated someone fairly, not acted ethically in my role. It's about doing things the right way, as simple as that. I feel empowered when I feel I stood up for my values, I spoke the truth, I empowered others in a way that can benefit them, and that I truly lived my path of service. This is for me empowerment. It's not about empowering myself at this stage. I'm in my mid-40s at the end of the day. So it's, after 24 years working, it's really about, like I said, leaving places better, leaving people better, helping wherever I can to make everything around me better. When I was younger, I was like, I want to make a difference in the world. Yes, I still want to make a difference in the world. But today I look at it, it's the first difference you can make is anywhere you are, regardless of where you are, the small circle that you have around, your colleagues, your family, your kids, the people who work in your home, for example, or are cleaning your car in the morning. How are you interacting with these people, every single day? That is empowerment for me. I feel empowered when I feel I was equitable and fair and inclusive with all these people.
The kind of things that you are speaking and that you believe in, it brings out that energy of, I would say, power within you. Okay,
Yes.
Even though you are in surrender, you feel that energy of power, and that's so true. Peaceful sleep at the end of the day is so empowering because, no matter where you are leading, what you are doing, if you can't sleep peacefully and if you're go to sleep, any kind of drugs or things like that, then I think you need to look at your life in a different perspective. So you're wearing a beautiful shawl, Noha.
Yes.
Please, can you speak about it? What does it represent, or what is it? Does it represent something?
This is just a shawl embroidered by Palestinian women in Gaza. And it was a gift from a friend of mine from university who is Palestinian. And I really cherish it because it comes from there. It's very authentic. And it's made by the hands of these women, and that particular cause touches my heart. So, it's a representation in a way. So
amazing. Beautiful. You have spoken about empowerment, you have spoken about your leadership and your journey that has taken place to where you are today. So when we are talking about Kellanova, what is the responsibility that you have there and how is it shifting mindsets, if I may ask you?
I basically had the corporate affairs function for the Middle East and Africa business unit, which is part of a broader region called Asia, Middle East and Africa. AMIA. So my remit is really covering all corporate communications, internal, external, executive issues and crisis, transformation comms, and so on. And it's also around leading public policy and government affairs for Kellanova, And Kellanova, by the way, for some of the audience who might not be familiar with the name, is the mother company of brands like Kellogg's, Pringles, Pop-Tarts, Cheez-It, and many, many more iconic brands that we all grew up with over breakfast. My remit beyond the public policy as well and the government affairs is around the corporate social responsibility, or which we at Kellanova call Better Days Promise. And it's an agenda that covers sustainability, equity, diversity and inclusion, hunger and well-being. So so this is really what I do today. In terms of the second half of your question is around mindset. Honestly, my own mindset is impacted by my team as well, not just, the other way. But in general, Kellanova is one of the few companies that I've worked for, and I really say this from the heart, in a very inclusive environment. It's extremely diverse. Like, for example, you have 31 nationalities in the Dubai office, in the region, in the business unit that I cover. In terms of gender balance, it's a company that puts that first. So, we have surpassed our KPIs to reaching, more than 50% in management levels of women representation.
Wow.
Our engagement scores, let's say for employee satisfaction, etc., 80% plus, and so on. So retention in the 90th percentile. So I have to say, the mindset is one that is very collaborative, inclusive. And I think it's not just me contributing to that. I actually joined the company only 2 years ago, but I think it's a mindset that is trickling down from the global leadership. They are extremely modest, down to earth, very close to the people, a lot of humility exhibited in our leaders. So that trickles down to every team, to every function, to everything that we do. And so the same in my team, the team members that I have, some of them are long with Kellanova, and they bring that culture, they bring that mindset of, rolling their hands and let's get things done, collaborative. There are very limited politics in this environment, which is something you find.
It's a blessing.
It's a blessing.
Yes.
So I'm honestly very fortunate. I feel lucky, to work for a company like Kellanova.
Great. So this is lovely talking to you. Noha, you have shared about leadership, empowerment. One question that I want to end this conversation with is, women are often seen as emotional, okay, over the years, and their conditioning and thought process. And many times whenever I have coached people, I have seen that women basically they are not able to break out from their current job profile or to reach the promotions or things like that. They feel that they have to go ahead and leave one part of their life. Probably they're not able to balance things out, responsibilities, they don't want to take it. So women are seen as emotional. What is your perspective to this? And how does emotions, bringing in emotions from the women's perspective is not a bad thing?
Look, I am extremely emotional and actually oversensitive sometimes. So I think it's human to be emotional. I think that it's been labeled very negatively. But, in a context of leadership, I think you just need to, regulate your emotions in a sense. In many settings, you're kind of pressured to hide your emotions. I don't believe in that, because I believe to be authentic, you need to really bring your whole selves. And sometimes that means imperfection. And as leaders, in my opinion, you need to hold ground. You need to hold space for people when they are undergoing, for example, a particular emotion around a particular issue. I think the boundary or line that I would put there is respect. How you express your emotion, how you bring it forward, and whether, even if you brought it forward in a way that was not necessarily what you would have done if you had thought it through, etc. It's really knowing how to handle and how to position yourself later on and navigate. Because the reality is, it's not about women emotion. I believe men are emotional as well, but they suppress it a lot, and they're just raised to hide it and be strong and be men, in that sense. The stereotype of a man is not to show emotion. But I believe everyone has emotions. everyone, whoever suppresses it, again, brings it out later on in anger, subconscious bias, triggers by things that people say. You will never, your body, even if you try to hide who you are and how you feel, your body will react at some point. It will, for many women, it turns when they suppress it into anxiety, fear, of different things. So what I would say is, we need to build, in my opinion, workplaces that embrace different people in who they truly are. And so long as you have respect, so long as you have, we are all there to deliver work at the end of the day and succeed and make our organization succeed. So long as that continues, one time that an employee will cry in an office is not a determining factor of who they are and their career. And I would say to a lot of women, and often I mentor, women, and they ask me like, oh my God, I cried today at work, and what do I do? And they're gonna think I'm unprofessional. It doesn't define you, and let's assume the worst case scenario that they actually did. Then maybe it's time to think, is this the right place for me? And also, first, like, how can I really build resilience? And really manage my energy, really regulate my emotions. And the recipe is very simple, by the way. I think, to be able to navigate, manage your emotions, regulate every day, manage your energy. It's all about, really eating well, sleeping well, drinking enough water, having a support network that you can lean back on, and have those vulnerable, open conversations where you can really be 100% yourself. Even if you screamed or cried, it wouldn't matter. It's about also not taking, we have a tendency to take a lot more than we can actually handle.
Yeah.
Because we want to achieve a lot and we want to reach to the top and all of that. So it's about really, once you change, and I believe effective leadership starts with you and how much you invest in yourself, both on the personal growth level and personal development level, equally to, all the skills and functional skills and career related skills, right? So it starts with you taking care of yourself, and by that you build resilience, having a good physical activity routine, eating well, resting, having a community that you feel you belong to, doing activities that ignite your soul. It's not just, life has to have sort of a balance of different things to make you feel alive. And so if you do that, I don't think that, your attention will not only be on these one negative situation in the workplace that triggers you. You will have so many different things to look at, from your family to your friends to your communities to your routine that you need to follow. And by doing that, you become a balanced individual and you become resilient.
Beautiful. I love the clarity. I love the thought process.
Thank
I love
you. Thank
the
you.
way you have spoken. I think it has so much of experience. Plus, it has your inner, thought process that you have brought out. This is very inspiring. Thank you so much for being on my show, Self Discovery Podcast. I hope you enjoyed being here.
Thank you as well. First of all, as a woman who's leading a platform that is offering other women and other people really voices and a place to really exchange experiences, and especially about leadership, because I think it's such an important topic that has an impact on so many people every day. I want to thank you actually for hosting me and for creating this platform. And I hope to see so many more people profiled and more visibility for self-discovery. And I'll personally be promoting it to everyone that I know because I really believe in your mission. It's a noble and important one. So thank you so much for having me today.